What are planes? So I'm not talking about airplanes in the sky. I'm talking about like actual surface planes. Like these are planes right here. We have a plane here. We have a plane here. It's like the surface and how they connect together to create a form. When we are learning very basic shapes, we think of a circle, we think of a square, we think of triangles, and this is two-dimensional. This doesn't have any form to it. There's no value. There's no highlights, midtones, and shadows to make it look three-dimensional. When we are painting portraits, it's easy for us to think that the face is just like, how do we do it? How do we make a face? So we overcomplicate it. But in actuality, the face is all of these different planes made up by using shapes, okay? So if we're folding a piece of paper and we want to create a nose, we have like, if we were looking at this shape of the fold, it's a triangle, right? And here's another triangle, and here's another triangle. And when we put them together, we have a plane, a plane, a plane, but they're creating form. And this would make a really great nose if we put all these planes together. As children, we're very used to our shapes to be very pointy. We have lots of points and very straight lines, except for the circle. The circle is like exception to the rule of when we're learning shapes. This is like ooh, it's a circle. That's interesting. But the rest of the shapes that we learn as children are pretty flat. They're pretty pointy and very straight. So how do we get from thinking like this to thinking like this, where everything starts to have more shape and more form? So the way that we do that is starting to figure out how these planes come together to create a new shape. So when you're looking at a face, let's go back to the Mona Lisa again. Instead of think about the Mona Lisa as being like, oh, we have eyes, we have this nose. Like, what is the shape? Like, what is the actual shape that we're looking at here? So I like to think of it like this. So I see this shape here is a plane, and then we have another plane down here. We have like one that is facing the sun right here because it's in highlight. We have another plane that's kind of coming down at this angle. So this is how I want you to start thinking of when you're building your underpainting is what is the plane there? Like where's the highlight, the midtone, and shadow? And that will give you an idea of what that plane is and what the shape is. So let me see if I can do this in red. This is kind of all in highlight, right? So what is this shape in highlight right here? That's all facing in the same direction. It's a pretty similar value, right? It's kind of like at this midtone highlight value. All right, now right here, I can tell there is another shape right here. This is like a shadow shape. It's all kind of in a similar shadow. When you start connecting these pieces together, then the only thing you have to do is think about where is this on my value scale? And what I mean by that is it highlights, midtones, and shadow? Like, is that at the top of the value scale, or is it further down where my values get darker down here? And then what you're going to want to do is think about how do I connect this value shape to this value shape? Where's the in between, and where does this lie on the scale? So as it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, I can start thinking this is kind of like right here, right? And this might be here. That means if I wanted to create a transition between here, I'd be using this one or be using glaze of either one of these colors to create a gradient that transitions into that. The more realistic that you get, you're not going to be thinking about big shapes, not big shape, big shapes. The more realistic you get as you progress in your painting journey down the line, maybe at portrait number 6, certainly not portraits 1, 2, 3, but maybe at portrait 6, you start thinking about what are the planes in here? The very subtle planes, the very small planes of highlights, the midtones, and the shadows, okay? But don't worry about that yet. Remember, this is a process, and that's why I included 6 portraits for you to practice with. You go as far as you can go with the first one, and you stop. Don't push yourself too much. Just continue to move forward, okay?